Hey guys, welcome back to AlgoYogi. We are doing array and hashing series. Let's go to our next problem, which is longest palindrome. Let's go to LeetCode. There you go. Given a string S, which consists of lowercase or uppercase letters, return the length of the longest palindrome that can be built with those letters. I'm sure you already know what a palindrome is. Letters are case sensitive. For example, lowercase a is not equal to lowercase b, lowercase uppercase a. Sorry. So these two are not palindrome because they're not equal. So palindrome is like something that you read forward or backward. It's going to be same. All right. So we are given S, which consists of lowercase or uppercase letters, and we need to basically use these characters to make the longest palindrome. I know the problem is not worded very clearly. You might read the problem and you might start doing something else. You'll be like, why is the example one giving me 7 as an answer? Have they misread in the example B with D? That is why the answer is like 7 or something, but still, like, why is it that way? It should be 6. We have to basically remember that they are asking us to build the palindrome ourselves. It doesn't exist. We're going to count the frequencies of these characters and then build the palindrome ourselves. So if you already know the palindrome's properties, it's basically any string, let's say A, B, A. So if you read it forward or backward, it's going to be same. Now what you can do is you can keep appending more characters in the back and front, appropriately, like basically respectively the same character. Let's say C here, C here, it's still a palindrome. B here, still a palindrome. One more B, still a palindrome. Or it can keep going. But the moment you add something here, let's say C, and you don't add it here, you add like, let's say I, then it's not a palindrome. So if you are noticing, what's really happening is, except the middle character, which is B here, except the middle character, all these characters are going to appear in the even number of times, so that you can place one character to the left and another character to the right, given that they are, in comparison to mid, they have the same, they're at the equally to the right, equally to the left. All right, so now given our first example, but remember, middle character, either if the length of the palindrome is even, then there won't be any middle character. But let's say you had an extra character or available characters, then you could place it in the middle and you will have one length longer palindrome. So that is why you want to have like, if there is an extra character, you can place it in the middle and your string will still be a palindrome. So let's take our first example and check how many palindrome can we make. So first character that I'm seeing is A. Is A palindrome? Yes, but the length is 1. So that is why, I can create a palindrome's length. I'm just gonna call it length. So right now it's 0, but now I can make 1, the length with 1. Then there is B. Can I just put B here? And is it a palindrome? No, it's not. But what I can do is I can place there are no more B's, so I will just like get rid of this B and place one C here and another C here. So now it's of length 3. So that is why it's of length 3 now. Then I have 2 more C, so I can place one in the front, one in the back. Then I have my palindrome's length is now 5. Okay. I have 2 D's, so I will place one in the back and one in the front. Now the length is 7. That is why that is my answer. Now you can't just like go through all these characters and keep placing them here and there. Even if you are trying to solve it that way, thinking like that's my brute force approach, but I don't think like it will work like that. So a better way would be, let me just count the frequencies of all the characters, and then using those frequencies, I can check if there are any even number of characters, or maybe there are characters that are odd number, but I will take one character out of those odd count that will make it even, append it to my palindrome's length, because I could use those even numbers. And this one, if there is only one letter unique character, I could place in the middle. It doesn't have to be unique, but like I could place it in the middle and my string will still be a palindrome. So let's say I will create my frequency map. So I'll just call it freq map, which will store the count of all these. So A occurs 1 time, B occurs 1 time, C occurs 4 times, D occurs 2 times. Now, since I have these two characters that are even number of that appear even number of times in my string, then I can simply just say I can definitely create, I can 100% create a string that is a palindrome of length the size of these two. I will add them, and that will give me 6. So 6 I can already make, and if you see right here, I could just place these two D's anywhere, like either in between or around the center somewhere, given that they are basically mirroring each other's in terms of like their position to the left or to the right. But then what about the odd counts? I have two characters, but I can't place, they're not equal, right? So I have one A and one B, I can only use one. So that is why I will have a variable called odd character. Initially I will say 0, but in my map, if I come across any odd character length, then I will basically check if it is odd, then I will subtract 1 from it, and then add it to my odd char. I'll add 1 to my odd char so that I can basically increment my count in the end when I return it. So I will return this count. I'll just call it like palin count, which is 6 now. Then I will return palin count plus odd char. That will be my answer. But remember, this odd char will only exist if you had an odd number of frequency of any character, given that you have already modded with you have already subtracted 1 from it, and whatever the count was left, in this case it was 0, but let's say if it was 5, that means if it was 5, then I will get here 4. This 4 could be added to this 6, and which will give me 10, right? Because that even count of that character I could still place in my palindrome, right? This makes sense, right? So that is why. But this one, that I'm subtracting, I will assign it to my odd character, because I could place that in the middle. And there is only one character, I think only one character I can place in the middle in the palindrome. So let's jump into the solution, but before that, let me write the time complexity is going to be big of n. I have to get through all the characters. And space complexity, let's say if everything was unique, but I would still be storing the count, so I will say at max 52 or constant, because it's lowercase or uppercase. But we can just we can just say 2 into 26 or constant. Exactly, right? Because lowercase uppercase together makes 52, and that's the max space I will be using. So let's write down our solution. So I'll call it char map empty in the beginning, or you know what, I don't have to go through, we don't have to write like each time the entire code. we can use counter if you're using Python, but then of course definitely write it yourself as well. Why am I writing? I don't know, because I'm lazy. Well, let's go through. I'm gonna call it oddchar. Initially I'll just say 0, and then palindrome size is 0. Then I will go through all the keys and vals, or most likely just vals. Val in my char map dot values. All right, I just want to get through the values. If val mod 2 is not equals to 0, then, or let's say if it is equals to 0, let's just cover both cases. If it is equals to 0, then my palindrome size, I can just simply add the value to my palindrome size. Else what I'll do is, that means I'm seeing an odd number, so to this odd number, what I'll do is I will subtract 1 from it, because it's an odd number. It could be 1 or 3 or 5, but I want to get like remain would be val minus 1, and I will add remain to my palindrome size, but at the same time this odd char, because I'm seeing an odd character, so I could just make it 1, right? I can make it 1 in the else case. So that is why this will always remain 1, and in the end I can just return odd char plus palin size. This might come as 1 or 0 depending on if you ever encountered any odd number of count, and palindrome size is what we are actually returning. So I'm gonna zoom out and try to test it. This is the first time I'm writing this code. This is first time I am writing this, and it seems to be passing the test cases, and hopefully yes, accepted. Time complexity is big of, as I said, n, where n is the number of characters, and space complexity, I'll say big of 26 into 2, or like you can say constant, okay, or just constant. It's uppercase or lowercase letters. That's the entire code. You can be more intuitive and write something smarter, bringing down the space complexity, etc. Let's go back to AlgoYogi, mark this solved. See you guys later in the next problem. Until then, bye-bye.